Hare Krishna. So, thank you all for joining to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Srishti Leela on the day of Ekadashi. So, thank you for coming. So, we will continue our discussion from second canto, fifth chapter. The chapter is entitled "The Cause of All Causes." So, we are beginning now with the next section of second canto, meaning after discussing superiority, excellence of Bhakti Yoga in first three chapters, and also discussing the prayers of Shukdev Goswami before he starts answering questions of Parikshit. So now the section which is coming up is the Sarga and Visarga, explained by Brahmaji to Narad Muni. So this is in connection to the question asked by Parikshit. So we saw that in last chapter. Shukdev Goswami said that whatever you have asked is also asked prior once by Narada Muni to Brahmaji. So I'll take the reference of that conversation and I will answer your questions. So that is what is there in chapter 5 to 7. So it is discussing about the aspect of Sarga and Visarga and Virat Roop and incarnations of Supreme Lord. So basically in this chapter 5th, Narad Muni asks 10 questions to Brahmaji, uh, out of which 6 questions are very fundamental in the sense defining Yatha Srishtam, Yadadhishtanam, and all that. And 4 more are there also. So total 10 questions are asked in this chapter, which will get answered in chapter 5 and 6 combinedly. Meaning the questions are starting in this chapter and also the answers will be given in this chapter itself. They will begin in this chapter. So chapter 5th and 6th combinedly would answer all the questions which are asked by Narad Muni. So which will include in turn the question which is asked by Parikshit in chapter 4. We saw those questions. How does Lord create this universe? How does he maintain it? The aspect of Sarga and Visarga that he asked, like that. Atmanam karoti, also vikaroti. Kridan Atmanam Kridan Karoti Atmanam Kridayan Vikaroti. So those were questions about Sarga and Visarga. So that is all covered now in Narad Muni's questions. So how we will go about is in this chapter, uh, in the beginning, from verse 1 to verse 20, is Narad Muni's questions and his convictions, and Brahmaji answers those questions. So up to 1 to 20, it is combinedly this Narad Muni's questions and Brahmaji is answering them. Especially from 21 onwards, a specific question is answered, Yatah Srishtam, which will include Karan Srishti, Karya Srishti. So which will go on from 21 to 35. That is the main topic in this particular chapter. The first discussion 1 to 20 is simple, and also 36 onwards, the last few verses is just Virat Roop's description. So that is also quite quick. What will take time is the middle section, which is verse 21 to 35, which is Karan Srishti and Karya Srishti. So we'll see all that, no problem. So post that, then in the next chapter also, the primary discussion is how Lord is the Upadan Karan, which is the first 25 verses around in the next chapter. Then rest of it is simple discussion, and it can be fairly quick. So I'm hoping that today we will go up to verse 16 or 18, at least till verse 16, which completes a theme. And then tomorrow we will complete or we will move on at least till verse 35. The Karya Srishti, Karan Srishti, that aspect I will cover tomorrow. That way. Okay. So then the rest of it, rest of this chapter, which is the universal forms description, that will be very quick, maybe. Just those 10 verses will take 20, 30 minutes. That's all, not more. Okay. So today and tomorrow, we will be able to cover most of this chapter. That is what I'm looking at. Okay, so chapter 5, the cause of all causes. So we will begin. This is text 1. So together. Narada uvacha Devadeva namastestu bhuta bhavana purvaja tadvijanihi yajnanam atma tattva nidarshanam.
Sri Narad Muni asked Brahmaji, O chief amongst the demigods, O firstborn living entity, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please tell me that transcendental knowledge which specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the supersoul.
Yeah. So Shukdev Goswami had said in the last chapter that he will answer Parikshit's questions based on Narad and Brahma's Samvad, right? So that is what is beginning in this chapter. This has happened prior, before, Pura, formerly, and that Samvad conversation is being quoted here and explained here by Srila Shukdev Goswami. So that is how the verse is beginning with Narada Uvach. Shukdev Goswami is speaking this. Deva Deva Namastestu. My obeisances unto you, O Deva Deva, because Brahmaji is considered the chief of all the demigods. Bhuta Bhavana, he is the one who generates all the living entities. He is the chief Prajapati, so to say. He is the first living entity, and from whom only then further living entities are, they receive the bodies. Purvaja, he is the firstborn. Purvaja. Tad vijanihi yajnanam atma tattva nidarshanam. And Narad Muni is asking him about, please enlighten me. Please explain to me. Vijanihi. So please explain me with full deliberation. The knowledge which has Atma Tattva Nidarshanam, which has all the details about Atma Tattva. So Atma Tattva would mean Jivatma Tattva, Paramatma Tattva, both the aspects. Okay. So about the contents of this topic, this particular chapter, Sridhar Swami says, Panchame Naradena Atha Prushtah Srishtyadi Vaktyajaha Harer Lilam Virat Srishtim Kala Karmadi Shakti. In the 5th chapter, Narad Muni has asked the question. So in answer to that, Ajaha, meaning Brahmaji, he speaks about Srishti. He speaks about Srishti and other aspects of Srishti. Karya Srishti, Karan Srishti, all those aspects. And also, this is considered Leela of the Lord. Srishti Leela, Harer Leelam. So this Srishti and all this is Hari's Leela. Virat Srishtim Kala Karmadi Shakti bhi, also the Virat Purusha is described here. The Srishti of Virat Purusha is described, which involves Kala, Karma and all that. And so we will see that all the terms will be clear as we progress further. One after another, we'll see that. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti says, what are the contents? Panchame Naradam Praha Tattvanam Srishtim Atmabhu. In the 5th chapter, Narad Muni has asked, and in answer to that, Sri Atmabhu, meaning Sri Brahmaji, he explains to him the Srishti, the creation of elements, Tattvanam Srishti, Karan Srishti, isn't it? So he explains the creation of all the basic creational elements like that. And from those elements, Virat Purusha's, all the feet of Virat Purusha and the eyes of Virat Purusha and all these aspects, Taihi means from those creational elements. What is also spoken is imagining that within Virat Purusha as his father, as his feet, as his limbs and all that. Tat padadi angai bhuradi kalpanam. What is the conception of Bhu within Virat Purusha, meaning the earthly planetary systems, the lower planetary system, upper planetary systems. So all that Kalpana is spoken over here in this particular chapter. So that's the last section. Tattvanam Srishti is the 21 to 35. That's the main section. And before that is the questions of Narad Muni, like that. So that is how the chapter is spoken. So here in this particular verse, he is asking about, this is making fundamental question about that he wants to know about all this Tattva Jnana, the Atma Tattva, the aspect of Atma Tattva. So Prabhupada in purport says that Narad Muni is asking to Brahmaji, and this is the parampara, this is the Brahma parampara, in which Narad Muni is asking the questions to Brahmaji. And this is how one should receive the knowledge. Prabhupada says that one should receive it in proper, bona fide parampara. Also, Narad Muni is asking very submissively his inquiries. The inquisitive student must approach a qualified spiritual master to receive transcendental knowledge by surrender, submissive inquiries and service. Pranipad Pariprashna Seva is speaking. Knowledge received by submissive inquiries and service is more effective than knowledge received in exchange for money. A spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from Brahma and Narada has no demand for dollars and cents. So Prabhupada is saying that knowledge which is submissive service and coupled with submissive service and inquiry is more effective than just in exchange for money. So this money, taking money for the sake of knowledge and, the tuition fees and educational fees and all that, that is more like a modern phenomenon, right? The students would give dakshina, whatever dakshina they would give, the teacher would agree. The students were also not, you so to say, freeloaders, meaning they just want something from spiritual master freely. And also the spiritual master, the teacher were not greedy formally. They were not thinking that, oh, education is a big business. I can make big money with the knowledge. So Prabhupada is saying that here Narad Muni is, very humbly approaching by calling him Deva Deva, offering him obeisances, and humbly putting forth his inquiries. So that is why Prabhupada brings up this discussion that knowledge received in exchange for money is not that effective, but knowledge by Pranipad Pariprashna Seva, that's the real procedure, like that. Okay. So even if, in educational institutions and all that, now we may charge some money and all that, but the point should be this, that yes, it should be minimal, just to make sure that the expenses incurred over there are taken. So making a whole business out of education, this is not a phenomenon in Vedic life. Making a huge business, becoming very rich based on educational institutions and all that. So education means minimum charge, whatever is needful, so that just or whatever expenses are incurred for teacher and all that, they are just maintained like that. So even here at BVRV, when we wanted to launch the courses, Radhesham Prabhu did say this point to us, saying that let us make BVRV famous for offering very high quality courses at just negligible fees, like that, he said. So that's how, the courses are being offered actually are at quite very, very minimal educational fees, meaning whatever that is there. If you compare it with other places and all, it's quite minimal. So yeah, that's the right mode particular to education. Right. Text 2. Yad rupam yadadhishthanam yatah srishtam idam prabho yad samstham yad parancha yacha tat tattvam vada tattvataha.
My dear father, please describe factually the symptoms of this manifest world. What is its background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And and under whose control is all this being done?
Yeah. So this is the pivotal verse question, which is deciding the course of the discussion over here. This particular verse has 6 questions in it. Yad rupam, yad adhishthanam, yatah srishtam, yat samstham, yat param, and yatcha. Tat tattvam, please, that particular tattva, vada. You please speak tatvatah. You please tell factually, you please explain to me in its truth, this all tattvas. What is this? 6 things. Yad rupam. What are the lakshanas of this universe? Yad rupam. Asya lakshanam. The lakshan of this universe, the symptoms of this universe, the characteristics of this universe. Like that. Yad adhishthanam. What is the shelter or what is the background, Prabhupada says, of this particular universe? Yasya adhishthanam, yasya ashraya. Adhishthan can mean ashraya or background, Prabhupada, as he writes. Yataha srishtam, how is it created? Who has created? And how is it created? That is yataha srishtam. Yat samstham, how is it conserved? In whom does it, yasmin liyate, in whom does it enter at the time of annihilation? Samstha, as you know, is annihilation also. Samstha. Yat param, who is this universe dependent on? Whose control it is under? Adhinta, that is spoken in param. And yach, and what is the ingredients, or what are the, what is, you can say, what is it composed of? What is it made up of? What are the ingredients? Like that, the 6 questions are there. Yadrupam, Prabhupada translates as symptoms of manifest world. Yadadhishthanam, background. Yatasrishtam, how is it created? Yat samstham, how is it conserved? Yat param, whose control it is all being done, like that. And also yatcha, that what is it consisting of? What are the ingredients, like that. So this is how Sridhar Swami also has sort of explained these 6 questions, like Yadrupam. So out of these 6, 4 will be answered in this chapter only. 2 will be answered in the next chapter. Okay. Yadrupam will be answered here itself. Yadadhishthanam will be answered here itself. Yat srishtam also, yataha srishtam will be answered in this chapter. Yat samstham will be answered in the next chapter. Yat param will be answered in this chapter. Yatcha will be answered in the last chapter, meaning the next chapter. Okay. So like this, out of 6, 2 are answered in the next chapter, which is Yat Samstham and Yatcha, and the rest 4 will be answered in this chapter itself. Of course, they are also answered in next chapter, but primarily in this chapter 4 are answered. The next 2 questions, the last 2, Samstham and Yatcha, they will be answered in the next chapter in this way. So he wants to know about these things. Actually speaking, all the questions can have just one answer. What is that? What is the symptom of this universe? What is the shelter? How is it created? Where does it merge in? Who is it dependent on? And what is the nature? All can be one answer. What is that? Lord Krishna, yes. Narayan, you can say. Supreme Lord. So that can be the one answer. But point is, yes, the answer also has the other details which are being spoken over here. Literally, Yadrupam, meaning actually, what is the characteristic of this universe? How this question is asked is, Vishwasya Vasudeva Rupatvam. This Vishwa, this universe is actually Vasudeva Rupa. Everything in this universe is Vasudeva only. So that is how he is also answering. But then he answers also in the sense that what is that everything in the universe? So in that he will say there is Jiva, there is Kala, there is Karma, there is Swabhava. there is Prakriti, all these things he will say. But the answer, literally to say, it is basically Narayan only. Bhagavan, Narayan is the answer for everything. But while you say that, so how is that? Yatah srishtam, yena srishtam, who creates this universe? Lord Narayan creates this universe. But then in that, how does he create is also explained. This aspect is explained this way. So Vishwanath Chakravarti explains in that manner that actually the question has really speaking this answer only, but the details are given there, then and there, so that one understands the aspects of creation. Okay, so this is how he asked this question. So Prabhupada in purport, the inquiries by Narad Muni on the basis of factual cause and effect appear very reasonable. Tatvataha, he said. The atheist, however, put forward many self-made theories without any touch of cause and effect. The manifested world, as well as the spirit soul, is still unexplained by the godless atheists through the medium of experimental knowledge. Although they have put forward many theories manufactured by their fertile brains. Contrary to such mental speculative theories of creation, however, Narad Muni wanted to know all the facts of creation in truth and not by theories. So Prabhupada is asking, this is the version that Narad Muni is asking based on factual Shabda Praman. It is not just some cause and effect based on some conjecturing, some experimental knowledge, some kind of theoretical knowledge. No, he wants to know Tattvataha, like that. Tattvataha, So Baldev Vidyabhushan connects Tattvataha to Tat Tvam Asi. He says that famous Vedic Upanishadic statement is there, right? Tat Tvam Asi. So in that there is Tat Jnan, there is Tat Padartha Jnan, there is also Tvam Padartha Jnan. So when you say Tattvataha something, it should include Tat Padartha Jnana, meaning Lord and his energies, and also Tvam Padartha means Jiva. Both the aspects are naturally included when you say Tattvataha. Tat Padartha, Tvam Padartha. Usually when you say Jnana in the Brahma Jnana has three categories. There is Tat Padartha Jnana, there is Tvam Padartha Jnana, and there is Brahma Jiv Aikya Jnana. These categories are there. So when we say Vaishnavas, we don't accept Brahma Jiv Aikya Jnana, but we accept the first two categories of Jnana. Whenever you say Jnana can be put into three categories. Tat Padartha, Tvam Padartha, Brahma Jiv Aikya. So then is Vaishnav Gyan or Vaishnav Tattva Gyan also falls under these three? No. Srila Jiva Goswami says, we accept Tat Padartha Jnana, meaning Tat here refers to the Supreme Lord. So that we accept, and Tvam refers to Jiva. But that Asi aspect is there, meaning the Brahma Jiva Aikya Jnana, that is what we reject. We don't accept that. So I was speaking all this from the aspect of Tattva. When you say Tattvataha, so Tat should be included and Tva should be included. Tva meaning Tvam should be included. So that is what. So that's why this is knowledge of Paramatma as well as Jivatma. Both should be there coming here. Fine. So Prabhupada says, in the phenomenal world, three things are factually observed by any intelligent man. The living beings, the manifest world, and the ultimate control over them. So Lord is Ishvara, is there, and or you can say three Jiva, Jiva, Jagat, Jagadish. These three are known as the three J's, three J's of the Upanishads. This is what they describe. Jiv, Jagat, Jagdish. So this Jiv, Jagat, Jagdish is accepted by all the philosophers. There is no argument over that. Only what is the nature of that, that is what they will discuss. Even within Shad Darshanas, they will discuss these aspects only. That. So Narad Muni is wanting to know these things, Tattvataha. Text 3. Sarvam hetad bhavan veda bhuta bhavya bhavat prabhu karamalakvat vishvam vijnana vasitam tava.
My dear Father, all this is known to you scientifically because whatever was created in the past, whatever will be created in the future, or whatever is being created at present, as well as everything within the universe is within your grip, just like a walnut.
So his confidence in Brahmaji that Brahmaji can answer all this is being spoken over here. Sarvam hetad bhavan veda. You know all these things, Bhavan, Aap. O Brahma, you surely, certainly know these things. In fact, you know Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. You know all the living entities which are born in the past, which are appearing and which will also be born in the future. Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat. He knows everything. He is the one who remains there for the entire span of the universe. So whoever has taken birth and whoever will take birth, he knows everybody because he stays there beyond the lifespan of everyone. And he is the one, in fact, who creates them in the sense that he creates bodies for them and all in secondary creation. So that's why he knows Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat, it is said. And he gives an example. How does Brahmaji know? Karamalak vat, Karamalak Nyay, or Hastamalak Nyay. This is known as the logic of the Amla ki fruit. Today is Amla ki Ekadashi only, right? Right. So the Amla, Karamalak. So the Amla fruit on the hand. This Nyaya is there in Sanskrit. There are many Nyayas in Sanskrit, right? Prabhupada keeps on quoting them also many times. Like Dehali Pradeep Nyaya, or, Kaktaliya Nyaya, or Nagnamatrika Nyaya, Tandul Vrishchika Nyaya, like that. Famous Nyayas are there, which are the logic, Laukik logic is there to explain, drive home a certain point. So this is Karamalak Nyaya. So Karamalak, if you take an amla ki fruit, Prabhupada translates as walnut for whatever interesting reason. It translates as walnut. I was also thinking, walnut is different, right? Amla is different, walnut is different, but Prabhupada translates like that. So I couldn't understand. But the point is that the same point is driven home, that is okay. Walnut or amla, you can hold on one palm, and just by one palm you can rotate it and see whole thing, right? You don't even need another hand to touch. If something is very big, then you have to hold like this. Then you get some particular perception or some particular angle is studied. Then you lift and then take the another side, and then you see the other side. So you need two hands to see something which is very big. You may not see. But Karamalak, Hastamalak means just on one hand you put and you can see full thing like that. Pura ghuma ke, you can see all the, right? You don't have to even touch another hand. So this is the Nyaya which says that something is made extremely simplified, very easy. Hastamalak. When you say Hastamalak Nyaya, it means that it is a very simple thing. It is not something very difficult, or it is effortless. That is the meaning of this particular thing. So for Brahma to know this universe and what this universe is about and how is it created and what are the elements, it is all like Hastamalak, he is saying. Hastamalak Nyaya. Because you have the complete knowledge and understanding, realization of creation of this universe. You are the one who is doing it. So that's why you know this world or universe. कैसे आप जानते हो इस विश्व को? हस्तामलक की तरह जानते हो. You know it like amala ki fruit on your hand. Hastamalak, like that. So there is one glorification of Srila Jiva Goswami that it says that Hastamalak vat tatvam Srimad Bhagavatasya cha yaha Darshayamas Jivebhyas Tam Shri Jivam Prabhum Numaha. It says that the Bhagavat, the Tattva of Bhagavatam, the various topics of Bhagavatam, they are not easy to understand actually. Vidyavatam Bhagavate Pariksha, it is said, right? The learning can be tested in Bhagavatam. You want to test somebody's learning, then you test him in Bhagavatam, it is said. You can test him, his learning, on basis of how much he knows the subject matter of Bhagavatam. So it is said, Hastamalakavat Tattvam, one who took the principles or tattvas of Bhagavatam and he presented them like a amla on the hand through his sandarbhas. This is in glorification of sandarbhas. In his sandarbhas, he took the Bhagavatam tattvas and presented to the audience like Hastamalak. So one who showed to the jivas, all the other jivas, what is Bhagavatam tattva, just like a Hastamalak, an amla on the hand. So we offer our obeisances to that Jiva Goswami, who made it so simple. That is what his point is. He made the understanding of Bhagavatam so effortless by putting all those contents in a thematic manner in the Shat Sandarbhas. So that is where Hastamalak comes. Many other places it comes. But that's what he is saying here to Brahmaji, that for you, this question of universe and how is it created and all that is, the Vijnan is there with you. You know it by your own realization clearly because you are part of it. So that is what he's saying. Prabhupada says, a walnut within the grip of one's palm. So that is how walnut is also like amla. So same size, right? You can take it on one hand and you can see the whole thing very clearly and this way. So that is how he writes. The direct manufacturer of a particular thing is supposed to know how he learned the art of manufacturing, where he got the ingredients, how he set it up, and how the products in the manufacturing process are being turned out. Because Brahma is the firstborn living being, naturally he is supposed to know everything about creative functions. So he is the one, the direct manufacturer. Prabhupada is giving examples. So that's why he knows. Text 4. Yad vijnano yadadharo yad parastvam yadatmakaha ekah srijasi bhutani bhuterevatmamayaya.
My dear father, what is the source of your knowledge? Under whose protection are you standing? And under whom are you working? What is your real position? Do you alone create all entities with material elements by your personal energy?
Yes. So this verse 4, Sridhar Swami says, has another 4 questions. Apart from 6, which were asked in text 2. Text 4 has 4 more questions. What are they? Yad Vijnano. What is the source of your knowledge, O my father, Brahma? Yadadharo. Under whose protection you are standing? Yat Parastvam. Under whose instruction or adhinta you are working? And Yadatmakaha. What is your real position? So these 4 more questions. Ekah srijasi bhutani bhutayarevatmamayaya. It looks like you alone create this universe. You create this universe, you create all the living entities by your personal energy, Atma Maya. It appears like that. So the last one, Narad Muni is speaking like a statement, but that also Prabhupada is putting like a question. Because Prabhupada is understanding the bhav, because Narad Muni further will say that, but you, O Brahmaji, you are also seen in while doing some tapasya. So is it that whose tapasya you are doing? Is it that you are only the creator or somebody else is there? So that bhav is there in him. So that is why Prabhupada translates into a question. Although the 4 questions are said, Yad Vijnano, Yadadharo, and these are like more taken as questions this way. So that is fine. So 6 plus 4, like that, 10 questions, they are accepted by Sridhar Swami and also by Acharyas in this manner. Yad Vijnano. So what happens is, while in the course of answering those first 6 questions, these questions also get automatically answered. What is the source of your knowledge and under whose protection you are standing and all that. So they are answered obviously. in the course of this discussion. So these are also answered. Ekah srijasi bhutani bhutaireva atma mayaya. So it looks like you are the one who is creating this universe along with all the living entities by your own energy. So I wish to know about what is the real tattva. Is it so in that sense? Like Prabhupada. It was known to Sri Narad Muni that Lord Brahma attained creative energy by undergoing severe austerities. So that he will say only later. He will say, Narad Muni will say that in verse 7. Sabhavan acharad ghoram tapaha. I see that you underwent a great austerity or tapas penances. So I just want to know, how is that you are undergoing penance? So that is little bewildering to me. Is it that there is another Lord of yours also? You are not the supreme, but you have someone which is beyond you. See, Narad Muni is asking all these questions just for the sake of hearing directly from Brahma. It's not that Narad Muni doesn't know these things, right? Narad Muni knows all these things. But Narad Muni is asking just for the sake of, so that let us hear a version directly from Brahma, who is thought to be like supreme creator. So what is he himself saying? Let us hear. So with that angle only. So that is why Narad Muni's ignorance is here just sort of, it's not real ignorance, but he is playing that particular role just so that the people can get the real knowledge, the actual knowledge from directly Lord Brahma's mouth. So that is why he is speaking in that manner. So Prabhupada is saying here, it was known to Sri Narad Muni that Lord Brahma attained creative energy by undergoing severe austerities. As such, he could understand that there was someone else superior to Brahma who invested Brahma with power of creation. Therefore, he asked all the above questions. So Prabhupada says that in this world, whatever discoveries are there and all, that the brain power that they have, all those great scientists, that is actually also not brain power. That brain is not designed by them. It is awarded by somebody, right? Awarded by the Supreme Lord. So that is why no one is independent. So all the Narad Muni seems to be saying, Ekah srijasi bhutani. You alone, it seems that you alone are there creating all this universe. But that's not the point Prabhupada is saying. That unless and until Lord gives the intelligence, nobody will be able to do that. So same with Brahmaji also. So although Narad Muni is aware, he is speaking these things so that we can get to hear from Narad Muni only. So Narad Muni's sort of false convictions are spoken further in few more verses, like 5, 6, 7. He will speak this thing. Atman bhavayase tani na parabhavayan swayam atma shaktim avashtabhya urnanabhirivaklamaha. Yeah.
As the spider very easily creates the network of its cobweb and manifests its power of creation without being defeated by others, so also you yourself, by employment of your self-sufficient energy, create without any other's help.
Right. See, you create the living entities and you create the universe. Atmayan bhavayase tani. Tani means bhutani, jivas, living entity. Na parabhavayan swayam. And you yourself are never defeated. The living entities may be living their bodies and all, but you never are defeated. You remain. Na parabhavayan swayam. In fact, Atma Shaktim Avashtabhya, it looks like just as a spider, he creates the whole web from his own energy, the saliva that comes out of his mouth. So, Urna Nabhi, literally spider means Urna. Urna means, you understand what is Urna? Urna means wool. Nabhi means the navel, in whose Nabhi there is wool, a lot of wool comes out. What do we say, wool, right? From whom the sweater and all that is made. Yeah, like so. Just because spider produces a lot of fibers, no, the fibers of that is called as urna. So urna nabhi in that sense. within his nabhi, within his body, he has all that fibers and he produces through his saliva those fibers and he is able to make a web. So actually this example is for the Supreme Lord. But Narad Muni is giving this example for whom? For Brahmaji. It is not for Brahma. Anyatra, in other places, if you see, this example is exactly for Lord. And he is known as like Urnanabhi, in the sense, he is the one who is Upadan Karan, he is the one who is Nimitta Karan. This example is very classic in the sense that the web which is created by the spider, the contents of that web, the ingredients, where do they come from? They come from the spider. So in that sense, spider is material cause or ingredient cause. That is called as in Sanskrit, Upadan Karan. So there is Upadan Karan, which is the spider himself. And also taking those contents, who creates the web? Spider only. So that is called as Nimitta Karan, instrumental cause, or also known as efficient cause. This Prabhupada uses these terms everywhere, if you have seen. Material cause or ingredient cause, Upadan Karan, and Nimitta Karan means efficient cause or instrumental cause. That is also the spider. And then for whose pleasure this whole web is made? Spiders. So that is known as ultimate cause, Param Karan. So he is the one for whose his pleasure only this whole thing is made, like that. So he is Upadan Karan, he is Nimitta Karan, he is Param Karan, like that. And there is something called as Adhishtan Karan also. When you talk about Karan, usually these four things are spoken. Nimitta Karan, Upadan Karan, Adhishtan Karan, Param Karan, this way. So we will see that later, Adhishtan Karan. But the point is, web is created by the spider. The ingredients are provided by him. He is the one who works it out. And in spite of that, he is the one who is never trapped in it. Who is trapped into it is the other living entities. So similarly, Supreme Lord is the Upadan Karan, he is the Nimitta Karan, and he creates all this universe, but he is not at all bound in it. He remains transcendental to it. He remains untouched by it completely. The spider may remain touched by the web, but he is not caught by the web. So similarly, here, Lord remains untouched by the web, meaning he is never ever touched by any bhautik gunas. He remains transcendental this way. And why is this particular universe created? Yes, so in this particular manner here, although he has arranged, no doubt, for the jivas to get enjoyment in this world by trying to enjoy the sense objects and all. But we see that the jivas are trapped, or the jivas are, they undergo the karma in this entire universe. By their own karma, they keep on rotating. So that aspect is also sort of corresponded with in the web of the spider, all the other living entities are caught up this way, like that. So not that Supreme Lord wants to catch them and destroy them or like that. That sense is not there. But the sense that, yes, he remains untouched and untrapped by the web, while the living entities are trying to enjoy this world by their own free will. They are caught up actually in this cycle of repeated birth and death. So that is what the example is. It's explained in many places, even Upanishads and other places, many of other Puranas also. But he is speaking this for Brahmaji here. Meaning literally he is saying, Brahma, you are Upadan Karan, you are Nimitta Karan, you are Param Karan. Like that he is speaking. So which is not like the proper Siddhanta. But that's what he wants to know from Brahma. So he's speaking in this way. Aklamaha, he says, without help, without trouble, Parishram Rahita, without any Parishram, you create this universe from your own energy. Atma Shaktim Avashtabhya, from your own energy. This is what he is saying. So Prabhupada in purport gives example of a sun. He says, just as sun is self-sufficient, similarly, Narad Muni is saying that Brahmaji is also self-sufficient. How is sun self-sufficient? Sun doesn't need any illumination by any other, right? In fact, sun only illuminates the other bodies. So that is self-sufficiency. Similarly, Brahmaji doesn't need any energy from anyone, but he himself creates just as Urnanabhi, just as a spider, like that. So 2 more verses and we will pause. Naham Veda Param Yasmin, Na Param Na Samam Vibho, Nama Rupa Gunair Bhavyam, Sadasat Kinchidanyataha. Yes.
Whatever we can understand by the nomenclature, characteristics, and features of a particular thing, superior, inferior, or equal, eternal, or temporary, is not created from any source other than that of your Lordship, thou so great.
Thou so great. Prabhupada. So I don't know anything, na aham Veda. I don't know anything which is param, which is superior, which is aparam, which is inferior, or which is samam, which is equal. Anything that in this world is superior or inferior or equal, which is having nama, rupa, guna, and all that, but that is not created by you. Meaning everything is created by you, like that he is saying. I don't know anything which is like higher, lower, or middle category, anything which has nam, rupa, guna, and all that. Sad, asad, something which is sort of eternal or temporary or gross or subtle, and which is anyataha, which is created by someone else. There is nothing like that. He is saying it is all created by you. I don't see anything which is from any other source. I see everything from you only, from your energy only. So he's glorifying him like Supreme Lord practically, this way. So Prabhupada speaks these things also in the purport. 84 lakh species of life. In that some are considered good, some are considered param, some are aparam, some are samam, everything. So that species wise it is being applied to all the bodies that way. So Narad Muni is saying that he is seeing no other source of generation besides Brahma. So he wants to know about this. Text 7. Sabhavan acharad ghoram yattapa susamahitah tena khedayase nastvam parashankam cha yachhasi.
Yet we are moved to wonder about the existence of someone more powerful than you when we think of your great austerities in perfect discipline.
Yeah. Yes.
Although your good self is so powerful in the matter of creation.
Yeah. So this is where he says that, although having said all this, but he says, we see that Sabhavan Acharad Ghoram Tapas. You have undertaken a great austerity. We know that. You have done Ghor Tapa. You have done a great severe penance and austerity. So you yourself meditated Susamahitaha. In perfect discipline, you underwent all this tapa. So tena khedayase nastvam. By that you khedayase, you make us, literally you can say, you give us pain. Meaning when we saw that you are meditating or you are performing penance, meaning this our idea that you are the Supreme Lord, you are yourself self-sufficient, that idea is violated, that idea is objected. So by doing your tapasya, he says, tena khedayase naha, you bewilder us, you give pain to us, you put us in distress because our idea that you are the Supreme is violated like that. So khedayase can mean you give pain or you give distress, or it can mean mohayasi, you bewilder us. Sridhar Swami says that you bewilder us. So bewilderment is surely a pain, isn't it? So in that sense, like that. Para shankam cha yachhasi, and you also bring forth this doubt that there is somebody who is para, who is superior to you also. So para shankam cha yachasi, you bring forth, you give us this doubt that there is somebody superior to you. That is why you are doing penance on him, meditating on him. That is the point he is saying like that. So this is basically the theme of this particular whole discussion, where he is wanting to know, and he is submitting his doubts, and he has spoken his convictions, and then his doubt is also spoken in terms of, then why are, oh Brahma, why are you meditating on someone? It seems that there is somebody more powerful than you in the matter of creation, like that. See, Prabhupada. Following in the footsteps of Sri Narad Muni, one should not blindly accept his spiritual master as God himself. So Prabhupada is saying, just as Narad Muni was thinking, is playing the role of thinking like that. Similarly, many people in this world may think that their spiritual master is God only. But one should know that that's not a fact. So one should not blindly accept his spiritual master as God. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado. He says, Brahma also worshipped some superior authority. The supreme is supreme and he has no worshipable superior. Sometimes people may say, but there is something called as ahangrahopasana, in which one worships oneself, isn't it? One worships oneself as supreme, ahangrahopasana. So although one is worshipping, but that worship is of oneself only, thinking that I am non-different than the supreme. So is Brahma doing something like that? Is it something like that? So that's why Prabhupada is addressing that idea. Ahangrahopasana may be there, thinking that I am non-different than Brahman. But anybody who is doing ahangrahopasana, the tattva is that he can never be God. He can never become equal. Prabhupada's standard idea, God is God always. God doesn't become God, isn't it? Right? Prabhupada would say that. When people would say to, meaning bring up these ideas like one can meditate and become God. So Prabhupada would say that Lord Krishna was God when he was 6 days old in the lap of Yashoda. When did he meditate to become God? Isn't it? Simple argument he would give, but very profound in the sense nobody becomes God by the process of meditating. Let it be ahangrahopasana or whatever else like that. So that is the point over here. Narad Muni seeing Brahma and doing a tapasya is raising a doubt in him. So last in this series, Narad Muni's expression of doubt and question. Etanme prachatah sarvam sarvajna sakaleshvara vijanihi yathe vedam aham buddhe nushasitah.
My dear Father, you know everything, and you are the controller of all. Therefore, may all that I have inquired from you be kindly instructed to me, so that I may be able to understand it as your student.
Yeah, so again he says, whatever he began with, he says that Vijanihi, please explain to me, kindly explain to me this in detail, like that. See, Vijanihi has the sense of Visheshena Janihi, meaning what? You please answer this with a great deliberation. Paramarsha, there should be paramarshatmakat, paramarsha, meaning you understand, a thorough contemplation and deliberation that is there in Vijani, this way. So whatever I have asked to you, you know everything because you are Sarvajna, omniscient, O Brahmaji. So please explain to me this in a very complete sense by thorough deliberation. So it's not that he's saying this with some kind of triviality, saying that, oh, you should think before answering, as if Brahmaji doesn't think before answering. No, that's not his point. He's saying Vijanihi in the sense that from all angles, with thorough deliberation, that is what I want to know. Please enlighten me in this way. And in the way that I can also understand, I am your disciple, Anushasitaha, and I can also understand. So please speak in a way that I can understand these things by thorough deliberation in this way, like that he is saying. So That Vijanihi word, Vishwanath Chakravarti says, is very important because it is showing that he wants the sort of answers with complete complete details. Samyak, that is what is said here. The inquiries made by Narad Muni are very important for everyone concerned. And as such requested Brahmaji, Narad Muni requested Brahmaji to deem them suitable so that all others who may come in the line of disciplic succession of Brahma Sampradaya may also know them properly without any difficulty. So please speak in a way that all of us can understand these things very nicely. So this is Narad Muni's doubts and convictions which are expressed in these 8 verses. Okay. So do you wish to ask anything on this or any comment? Yes, Prabhu.
Narad Muni is because as you mentioned, Narad Muni is also a Nitya Siddha. So he is genuinely asking Brahma, or is just asking to test Brahma or to set an example for all others? Brahma may speak, he will come in Bhagavatam. What is the motivation behind?
Yeah, Narad Muni is asking Brahmaji, very genuinely asking Brahmaji, but the point is that his purpose in asking this is that Brahmaji himself speaks that who is the real creator. That is his purpose. So does Narad Muni know, even as a pastime sake, has he manifested complete knowledge? Yes, he has complete knowledge. Even in this beginning, when he is asking question, it is not like he's manifesting a pastime of not knowing. No, at this point also he knows everything. What is the real tattva and all. He is asking only for the sake of others, so that Brahmaji speaks all these things and enlightens others, and also through pages of Bhagavatam enlightens everybody else. So this is, he is exactly asking for others only, for others' sake. He knows the complete tattva. All these verses should not be seen as some sort of ignorance in Narad Muni, or that anything like that. Sridhar Swami also and Vishwanath Chakravarti says that that is not the point over here. He is asking, just like it is like Arjuna's asking. Arjuna was also put into that particular situation, right? Arjuna is fully aware of it, but Arjuna is put into that particular situation. So similarly, for Narad Muni to ask all these questions very genuinely, he has to be put into that particular situation, so which is being done by the Lord. So when he is asking this, there is no flippancy or triviality intended. He's asking these things very, very genuinely only. But the point is that that situation is being created. It is not his, he is not, so to say, ignorant at this point, and then later he becomes enlightened or like. That is the point. Okay. Anything else from any online devotees? That's such simple only questions. So there is not much huge discussion in this. Okay. So we move on. Brahmaj, yes, Prabhu.
Yad Rupam, when we say, so as such, I don't know how the questions come out. Like usually when we say some Kim and all
Yeah.
those questions.
Correct.
So how does these become questions?
Okay, good. Yeah. Yes. Fine. See how the Sanskrit, this goes with Sanskrit is like this. See, here Sridhar Swami says, when this question is there, so he's saying that Vada, you please speak it. You please, tat tattvam, that particular tattva, you please speak. What tattva? So yad rupam. So all these actually in Sanskrit, yat means that which. Yad Rupam, like that. So how will it be expanded is Yaha Yasya Rupam, meaning Yasya Rupam Asti, that which is the Lakshana, that which is the symptom, you please speak that. That which is the samstham, that which is the source of annihilation, you please speak that. So that Sridhar Swami says it is basically asking like that, what is that? So that way he is writing. So Yad Rupam. What is the Roop? That which is the Rupam, that which is the Adhishthanam. So this can be in turn made it into a question. What is that Adhishtan? That you speak that way. Got it? Like that.
And Rupam, like how do we understand it as symptom? Because Rupam is the form.
Form, like that.
So
yes. So that is how it is actually questioned. That what is the form of the universe? Meaning Rupam, he says that the form of the universe is basically Vasudeva Rupa. This is how he answers. Vasudeva Rupa. This universe is Vasudeva Rupa. This whole universe is actually form of Vasudeva. That's the answer. Now, when you say this is form of the Vasudeva, but then in universe you see this Pancha Mahabhutas and you see, Kala, you see Karma and all that. How is that Vasudeva? Like that. So then that explanation is what will come. So yeah, this universe, when you say Rupam, precisely speaking, that answer is actually Vishwasya Vasudeva Rupatvam. Vishwa is actually Roop or form of the Vasudeva. But then is it the form of his direct Chit Shakti or is it the form of his Maya Shakti? The form will be of his Maya Shakti, like that. So when you say Yad Rupam, what is the Roop of the Lord? Actually, what is the Roop of the Lord? No, not Lord, the universe. Here Yat means universe. Yat you apply for universe. Yad Rupam, universe's Roop. Yad Adhishthanam, Adhishtan or the shelter of the universe. Yatah Srishtam, meaning by whom this universe is created. Yat Samstham, where does universe merge in? Yat Samstham Liyate. So that Yat refers to universe over here. So Yad Rupam also means that the form of the universe. What is the form of the universe? The form of the universe is actually Vasudeva only. Vasudeva only is the form of the universe. Whatever you see in this world is Vasudeva. But in order to elaborate that thing, that how then in this world, whatever we see can be said to be Vasudeva. So it has been translated as Lakshanam. We can see that everything in this world is the Lakshana, the symptom of Vasudeva, meaning it is Maya Shakti's, Maya Shakti's manifestation that way. So if you go literally by questions, Yad Rupam, meaning what is the form of the universe? Vasudeva Rupam. It is Vasudeva actually. It is Narayana only. But then you have to explain Narayana is Chit Shakti, this world is Maya Shakti. So then how is that? So in that sense, then Lakshanam, symptoms will be spoken. Got it?
Where is the material world, like when we say Yat, and you're saying it's referring to the Vishwa,
Yeah.
but where that begins, that because
Okay.
before that he said Atma Tattva,
Yeah.
and then now he's saying Yat. So the Yat refers to Atma, or
Okay.
how
Good.
it became material world.
Yeah, yeah, fine. Yes. See, here he says, Sridhar Swami, Upalakshana Bhutam Vishwam Eva Atma Jnana Sadhanam Tad Vishesham Prachati. So when it was said here, Atma Tattva Nidarshanam, right? So Atma Tattva Nidarshanam, meaning please explain to me that particular Jnana which will show me Atma Tattva, like that. So now when we talk about these series of questions, he is asking that in order to gain that knowledge, that Atma Tattva or Atma Jnana, what is the sadhan? He says the sadhan in this context is Vishwa. Meaning by knowing about the universe and its creator and what all are the energies involved and all that, by that he wants to understand the Atma Tattva Nidarshanam. See, the Vishwa here is Upalakshana. What does Upalakshana mean? Upalakshana means what, Prabhu? Suppose you say somebody's face is very beautiful. So then you would say that, so here is a person with a beautiful nose. So now you didn't say that entire face is beautiful, but you said only nose. So that nose becomes Upalakshana of that entire face. You understand? Nose becomes Upalakshana of the entire face. So similarly, he says that when he talked about, please explain to me that knowledge, Jnana, which is going to speak about Atma Tattva, Jivatma, Paramatma, and all that. So by here, he says, in order to understand that knowledge, in order to understand that whole Atma Tattva, he takes Vishwa, this universe, as Upalakshanam. By telling me about how this universe is created, how this universe is destroyed, what are the energies involved, where does it enter into. So what I will get to know is all the Atma Tattva aspect. So universe becomes Upalakshan over here, like that. So this is how he is speaking. Sridhar Swami explains this this way. So the context in which, by speaking about Srishti Leela, how is it leading to Atma Jnana, or how is it leading to the knowledge of Atma Tattva? He says that Vishwa has been accepted as Upalakshana. By knowing about Vishwa, its energies, everything involved, this is how I received the Atma Jnana. See, instead of this Vishwa, you could make something else also as Upalakshana. Like in some other context, what could be made as Upalakshana is Atma. Tell me about Atma. So when I say tell me about Atma, so you will also have to speak about Atma, what is the source of Atma, and then other energies, right? Apart from this Atma, who is the Paramatma? So wahan pe wo Atma Upalakshan ban gaya. By that Upalakshan, you understood the entire Atma Tattva. Here, what is being made into Upalakshan? Vishwa is being made into Upalakshan. So this is what he's connecting, that Atma Tattva Nidarshanam to further topic, which is Vishwa. And that is how he is bringing in. As such, in the text itself, you will not see like that it is mentioned that way. But he is connecting that in terms of Upalakshan, which is a representative factor to get that Atma Tattva Jnana. This is how he is connecting to this way. Okay.
And it is implicit. It is
implicit. Yeah.
And both Brahmaji and Naradji both understood.
They understood. Yeah. Because see, they are understanding Prabhu by words like Yatha Srishtam, no? Srishtam. Or Samstham. So then they are understanding. Srishtam cannot apply to Atma, no? Because Atma is not created. Samstham. So by that they understood this is Vishnu. I hope that is clear. Like that. Okay.
One question Prabhupada doesn't mention in the first 6. What is it composed of? What are the ingredients? Last one. No?
Yeah. Prabhupada is not. Correct. Prabhupada is not mentioning that.
Okay.
Yeah, although Acharyas have mentioned, see, like Sridhar Swami, you can say, Prabhupada takes Sridhar Swami. So, Yad Rupam, Yad Adhishtanam, Yatah Srishtam, Yat Samstham, Yat Param, and Yatcha Yadatmakam. So, this one Prabhupada has sort of not taken very specifically for that matter. Under whose control would be, yeah, Yat Param. How is it conserved will be Yat Samstham. Yes. So at least myself, I also. Yatcha. Yeah. That's what. How does he write Yatcha? Yeah. I also couldn't specifically see that he has written Yatcha this way. Symptoms is Yad Rupam. Background is Yadadhishtanam. Created Yatah Srishtam. Conserved is Yat Samstham. And finally, under whose control is Yat Param. This way. Okay. So the last one, Yatcha, that is what is, he has not translated per se. One more thing, Prabhu, in the second verse, when you say idam, no, this idam also confirms Vishwa. If you say idam, yad rupam, yad adhishtanam, yatha srishtam, idam Prabhu. Idam would mean idam jagat. or idam Vishwam. So in the verse, idam is, so to say, speaking directly about Vishwa, but Vishwa word has not come still. It is only idam. It is a pronoun has been used for Vishwa. Yes, like, okay, fine. So we move on. Brahmaji starts answering now. Brahmovacha samyak karunikasyeedam vatsate vichikitsitam yadaham choditah saumya bhagavad-virya darshane. Yeah.
Lord Brahma said, "My dear boy Narada, being merciful to all, including me, you have asked all these questions and thus inspired me to see into the prowess of the Almighty Personality of Godhead."
Yeah, so Brahma starts answering and he says, Samyak karunikasya idam vatsate vichikitsitam. Vichikitsitam means what that is inquired by you. The chikitsa means inquisitiveness, or chikitsa means the examination. So what you have examined over here, what you have tried to inquire, specifically examine, is actually very wonderful, perfect. And it is karunikasya. You are actually very merciful by this inquiry. He is not saying that, hey, what is this? You are asking such a thing. You are pulling my leg or what? No, karunikasya. You are very merciful. It shows your great compassion on me and also on others by asking this particular thing. Vatsa, he is addressing Narad as very dear boy. Because by this inquiry, aham choditaha, I have become inspired, I have become instigated by you. In what? In Bhagavad-virya darshane. In very clearly seeing the prowess of the Supreme Lord. By this inquiry, you have instigated me in seeing the power of the Supreme Lord. Just from my routine, activities, or from my absorption in Srishti, you have made me to look at the prowess of the Supreme Lord and, speak it. So that's why actually this is a wonderful inquiry. In fact, you are very compassionate, merciful to inquire in that particular manner, like that. So that is the mood in which Brahmaji is saying that this is actually yours, is a very merciful inquiry. See, Prashnam abhinandanti, he says, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Prashnam abhinandati. He is congratulating the question. He's very happy with the question, like that. So what you have asked, vichikitsitam, your sandeha, your doubt, it is very appropriate. It is very perfect, samichinam, like that. Because karunikasya, why? You are sarvajna, you know everything. See, here he is saying, sarvajnena api. Although you are sarvajna, but still you have asked me this. So this is your mercy on your pita. This is your mercy on your father. Pitari karuna eva krita. You have done great compassion and mercy you have shown towards your pita. And vijanihi, you had said vijanihi, right? Tat tatvam vijanihi. So by that, paramarsharthak padena, that vijanihi means visheshena, by thorough deliberation, by contemplation, by all the angles, by great paramarsha, by in-depth thinking, you please answer that question. So as soon as you said that, I sort of stopped and I, for a moment, remembered the Supreme Lord and his prowess. He is saying, I closed my eyes and I remembered him and his prowess. So you are very merciful to me because in that way, I meditated on the Supreme Lord. Just for a moment, he says here, Tadaham kshanam manasaeva tat pashyami. As soon as you ask that question saying, by thorough deliberation, please answer. So I just closed my eyes and within my mind, I saw that Supreme Lord. So I experienced joy of seeing him. Tat pashyami. For kshana, just for a moment, I looked at the Supreme Lord within my heart. And so he says that, Thank you. This question is very wonderful that way. So Prabhupada says, this question is very nice, appreciated by Brahma. Such discourses on the transcendental activities of Lord purify the atmosphere in which such discussions are held, and the devotees thus become enlivened while answering such questions. It is purifying both for questioners and one who answered the questions. Vasudeva Katha Prashna, Purushanstrin Punatihi, Vaktaram, Prachakam, Shrotrans, Tatpada Salilam Yatha. The Vasudev Katha Prashna, the inquiries about the Supreme Lord, they purify. Vaktaram, the speaker, they purify. Prachakam, one who has asked, and also Tat Shrotran, those who are hearing. And Vishwan Chakravarti says, interestingly, that these inquiries purify the speaker the most, the hearer or the inquirer little less, and the rest of the audience least. He gives the proportion also. So he doesn't explain that in great detail, but he says that the speaker is the one who takes greatest effort in terms of speaking, and he is the one who is sort of giving that knowledge to others. But the inquiry was the root cause, so inquirer is the next one to get benefit, immediately. And then he says that further audience, they are listening to them. They are the third one in getting that benefit. So he's adhikadikam uhyam, like that he says. That is his phrase, meaning that in the descending order, the benefit is there. Of course, if this is general, in general sense he is speaking. Sometimes if the speaker is himself proud, or he doesn't have that much faith, but the audience may have greater faith than him, so they might get benefited very much. Or sometimes you may see an inquirer, he asks a question, and then that's what, he just wanted to ask a question. He was not bothered about the answer also, right? So he is not listening to the answer also, but the audience is very interested. Many times it happens that I also, somebody asks the question and he's like very happy by question only. And then when I'm answering, he's looking here, there, and like that. His job is done. So then I said, Prabhu, I'm answering your question. Oh, then, it's like, sometimes people are happy only by asking question this way. So somebody else from the audience may be very much enlivened by the question and maybe very attentive. So he may get benefited the most in that case. But in general, prior, because Vishwan Chakravarti says, that is how it works in general. Okay, text. Yeah, Prabhupada. The pure devotees are not satisfied only by knowing everything about the Lord. They're also eager to broadcast the information to others, for they want to see that the glories of the Lord are known to everyone. Thus the devotee feels satisfied when such an opportunity is offered to him. This is the basic principle of missionary activities. So Brahmaji is delighted because here is an opportunity to speak the glories of the Lord. So that is why he is delighted. So that is a devotee. He is very happy to get the preaching opportunity. They are not just happy by keeping the knowledge to themselves, but they want to take every opportunity to broadcast that information to others, Prabhupada says. So that is shown by Brahmaji over here. Text 10. Nanrutam tava tachapi yathamam prabravishibo avidnyaya param matta etavatvam yato hime.
Whatever you have spoken about me is not false, because unless and until one is aware of this personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate truth behind me, one is sure to be illusioned by observing my powerful activities.
Yeah. So you said so many things. I am like that Urnanabhi, a spider creating from his own energy, Atma Shaktim Avashtabhya, Ekaeva Srijasi. I am the alone who creates from my own potency. You said all those things, right? Nandritam tava tachapi. So whatever you spoke is actually not false. It is correct only. He is saying like that. Yatha mam prabravishibbho. O Narada, what you spoke in the matter of creation about me is actually true only. But then he says, second very important line, Avidnyaya param mattaha etavatvam yato hime. Why? Because anybody who is not knowing me, or one who is not knowing personality beyond me, he will speak like this only. He's saying like that. Mattaha param avidnyaya. Whatever you have spoken is perfect, is right only. Na anritam. It is not false. But that is why. Why is that? Because mattaha param avidnyaya. Because of not knowing somebody who is beyond me. That is why your words, what you are speaking, no, then they can be considered as not false, meaning true. Because anybody who is like that, who doesn't know somebody beyond me, he will speak like that. Etavatvam yato hime. So this is what he will speak. What you have spoken, this is what such a person will speak also. Because he doesn't know mattaha param avidnyaya. Mujhse pare nahi jankar. मुझसे परे जो है उनको नहीं जानते हैं. That is why etavatvam, this is what they will speak. So that's why your words are not false. Meaning actually he's saying your words are false because you are not knowing, or rather whatever, you are like feigning that ignorance. So, but this is not a fact, he says this way. So Vishwan Chakravarti says also here, Srila Jiva Goswami has not given much commentary over here, so I'm not speaking much from there. Only Vishwan Chakravarti, this way. So this is his point, that mattah sakashatapi param, because of not knowing somebody who is beyond me, that is Parameshwar. So because you're not knowing Parameshwar, or people who don't know Parameshwar, they will speak like this only. He is saying that way. So in case of yours, the difference is what? Tvam tu sarvadnyaha api taneva jnapayitum tananukritya brashe. Actually, in case of you, you are sarvadnya. But in order to make such ignorant people who will talk like you, in order to make them known the real truth, that is why you are sort of imitating them and speaking such words. He is saying, tananukritya. You are doing anukaran of such people. Although you are sarvadnya, you are speaking such things, he is saying, like that. So here he says, when Brahmaji is saying that tvam mattaha param avidnyaya, meaning because of not knowing somebody who is beyond me, you are speaking like this. Iti vyakhyane, when it is said like this, naradasya adnyatvam brahmana jnatum anuchitam. You should not say Narad is ignorant or Narad is showing ignorance over here. No, he says Narad is not ignorant because Brahma obviously is aware of Narad Muni and that he is actually most learned, most enlightened. So this is why he says that. Although Brahmaji seems to be saying like this, oh yeah, people like you who don't know anybody beyond me will speak like this only. We should know that Narada is not Adnya over here, and Brahma knows it very perfectly, he says this way. Okay. So Prabhupada in purport, the frog in the well, Prabhupada gives the logic, famous logic of the frog in the well. So that story, how the frog in the well thought himself to be, so huge. Or another story where the frog in the well was told about Atlantic Ocean, the big gigantic ocean. And then he was just not able to conceive because his mentality was Dr. Frog mentality. He could only think of water in terms of that well. Kupa Manduk Nyaya. This is also Kupa Manduk Nyaya, this way. So similarly, he says that somebody may think about, different personality as the creator. So that frog mentality finally may go even up to Brahma, like that. That's the final, you understand, about the creator of the universe. That mentality may go at best up to Brahma, but that is also incorrect. Only Supreme Lord is the one who is the creator. So he speaks. Similarly, material scientists think that and they know the length and breadth of universe, but actually they are hardly aware of it, like that, by their frog-like brains, Prabhupada ji says, this way. So he's not calling Brahma as frog, that's not the point. But in one's estimation of who is the creator of the universe, or what is the expanse of the universe, one may at best go up to saying that Brahmaji is the creator, that way. So that is like the final estimation of the universe and all. But that is also incorrect, because universe is much beyond Brahma also. This is how he is speaking. Sometimes a materially powerful man is accepted as God or incarnation of God without any knowledge of factual God. Such a material assessment may be gradually extended, and the attempt may reach to the highest limit of Brahmaji. See, this is where he writes it very perfectly. Somebody may think some common man as God, and somebody then may go on increasing that limit. The highest limit may reach up to Brahmaji. Personalities like Brahma or Shiva, like that, who is the topmost living being. But even he is not the Supreme Lord. That is his point. This way. Finally, Prabhupada says, a liberated soul is never bewildered by such a mistaken idea. So why did Naradji ask all those questions? Just like ordinary man with a poor fund of knowledge. There was such bewilderment in Arjuna also. See, he is giving the example of Arjuna. Although he is eternally the associate of the Lord, such bewilderment in Arjuna or in Narada takes place by the will of the Lord, so that other non-liberated persons may realize the real truth and knowledge of the Lord. So here also Narad Muni is asking, and Brahma is also saying in that fashion, but he is aware that this is completely by the will of the Lord that he is asking in this way. So the doubt arising in mind of Narada about Brahmaji's becoming all-powerful is a lesson for the frogs in the well, that they may not be bewildered in misconceiving the identity of personality of Godhead. So what to speak of any ordinary person? Even Brahmaji is not Supreme Lord. So then forget about any other ordinary people. Even great kings, they are not considered to be equal to the Supreme Lord, because Lord is Lord. Lord Ramachandra may come appear as a great king. And similarly, Yudhishthir was also pious king, but Yudhishthir is a jiva. Yudhishthir can never be equal to Lord Ramachandra or Lord Krishna. Lord is Lord. This is point. This is the point that Prabhupada is saying over here. Okay. Text 11. So he answers. Yena svarochisha vishvam rochitam rochayamyaham yatharkognir yatha somo yatharksha grahatarakaha. Yes.
I create after the Lord's creation by his personal effulgence, known as Brahmajyoti. Just as when the sun manifests its fire, the moon, the firmament, the influential planets, and the twinkling stars also manifest their brightness.
So 3 verses, 11, 12, and 13, they answer who is the real Ishvara. Sridhar Swami says that these 3 verses he speaks about. Actually, yes, you said that, is there Ishvara beyond you? Yes, actually. He answers that there is an Ishvara. There is the real Ishvara who is beyond me also. And I create, or whatever I do in the matter of secondary creation, it is actually in following of him only. Yena svarochisha vishvam rochitam rochayamiham. That particular universe or the world which is manifested by rochitam, which is already created by the potencies of the Lord. Svarochisha refers to Lord's effulgence or Lord's energies. So that which is rochitam, that which is already manifested, created by the Lord, by his great energies, svarochisha, that only rochayami, that only I create. As a secondary creator, I manifest that particular thing. Rochayami aham. So for this, he gives an example. Just as yatha arka, just as sun, whatever sun illuminates, or rather even other objects like Agni and Chandra, Soma, and all these other objects, influential planets, other luminaries, tarakas, they can only illuminate those things which are illuminated by the sun. Like that. He is saying, the examples is given. Just as the sun manifests its fire, the moon, the firmament, they also manifest their brightness. Meaning they are all dependent on sun for their brightness. All their light depends on the sun. So similarly, he is saying that I am able to create this universe only in the following of Supreme Lord. Only when he decides to create and he decides to manifest something, so then I would be able to manifest further actually physically. Otherwise, it is impossible. It is his power that I take and by which I am able to manifest what he desired to manifest. Yena swarochisha vishvam. In this way, he is speaking about like that. See, in turn, sun also will manifest that thing only which Lord wants to manifest or Lord wants to illuminate. But the example is given in terms of sun and other luminaries like that. So, but even sun can manifest or illuminate only those things which the Brahma Jyoti sort of illuminates, which Lord wants to illuminate. Brahma Jyoti is the real source of all the light that it is there in the world. So, Vishwan Chakravarti says, Vastutahastu aham kova varaka. Actually, factually speaking, who am I? I am very varak. I am actually insignificant soul. I am a fool. Like that he says. Why? Because that universe which is manifested by the Supreme Lord, Parameshwarena, that only I, in terms of creation, I remanifest them like that. And he says, this is like Pishtapesh Nyaya, Pishtapesham, grinding which is already ground. So Lord has already ground the whole thing. I just sort of again grind on it. Pishtapesha. So we will see this in the aspect of secondary creation. Unless and until Lord manifests into elements and those elements are created, and then further Lord's manifestation in those elements, and everything is like this given as a blueprint to Brahma, and then only Brahma is able to create something further. So that is what he means by their Swarochisha. Basically, whole thing is given to Brahmaji by Supreme Lord only. The elements are created by him. Unless and until elements are created, what can he do? He cannot do anything. And then not only that, the Lord is the one which enters in every universe and then creates Brahma from his navel. And with all these ingredients which are created, even the blueprint is given, how the creation is to be done is revealed to Brahma. Then he is able to create something. So that is why he is saying that which is manifested by him, I remanifest. In this particular sense, he is saying like that. Okay, so Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, as the decision of Supreme Court of a state is final, similarly the judgment of Brahmaji, the supreme authority in the universe, is final in the Vedic process of acquiring knowledge. So just as in Supreme Court, or rather in judicial process, you may go to the Sessions Court and then further to High Court and then further to, when it goes to Supreme Court, that's it. The decision is final over there. So similarly, here it is said that when Brahma is speaking a version of creation, that's it. That is it. Done. Now, you can't go beyond it. So if he is saying something that who is the real creator and all, so that is the final knowledge which everybody has to accept. So Brahma is cause of all causes, but you hear from Brahma only who is cause of all causes. And that thing Prabhupada says is this way. This is there in the pages of Bhagavatam for everybody to learn. In this verse, Brahmaji clears up the wrong impression held by less intelligent and affirms that he creates the universal variegatedness after the material potencies are created by the glaring effulgence of Lord Krishna. So Prabhupada explains this in the fashion also that Lord manifests his Brahma Jyoti everywhere. And by this Brahma Jyoti manifestation only, the further things can move on, right? So this aspect will come in the aspect of Karya Srishti. We will see it there. But the aspect is Lord manifests his material potency in two ways. One thing is he manifests, meaning his potency, not to say material. He manifests as Brahma Jyoti, and also as Paramatma. He enters everywhere, in everything. So that is when things can sustain. That is when things can survive. Otherwise, nothing can even survive in its shape and its color and its form and all that. So that's why sometimes Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma, it is said. Brahman is the source of everything. That way, because it has that Dharan Shakti aspect which is invested within Brahman. So Brahma Jyoti. So Prabhupada says that in Brahma Jyoti, in this way, Lord's, these potencies are there. And only when this is manifested, then we can see that further creation can happen. Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti. He is quoting that. And Lord is the source of, or Pratishtha, or the support of this Brahman. So in this way, he is the one who is manifesting everything. So this angle of vision Prabhupada gives also. Prabhupada says finally, last para, just as the small seed of a banyan fruit has the potency to create a big banyan tree, the Lord disseminates all varieties of seeds by his potent Brahma Jyoti. And the seeds are made to develop by the watering process of persons like Brahma. So Brahma doesn't create seeds, no? Brahma, does he create living entities? No, he doesn't create living entities. He doesn't create elements. He doesn't create living entities. But he takes these ingredients from Maya, Lord has created. So from Maya's agency, he takes the ingredients, and Jivas he takes from the Supreme Lord, and then combines them. That is the aspect of secondary creation. So Brahma cannot create the seeds. He can only take them from the Lord, and he can water them, so to say. He can manifest the seed into a tree. Prabhupada gives nice example of a gardener. Gardener cannot create the seeds, but he can only take the seeds, and he may water them to nurture. Similarly, Brahmaji can take the jivas, Brahmaji can take the elements, and he does the task of only filling it up with physical elements this way. So anyway, this aspect will come in the Visarga aspect. We will see that it there. Text 12. Tasmaya namo bhagavate vasudevaya dhimahi yanmayaya durjayaya mam vadanti jagadgurum.
I offer my obeisances and meditate upon Lord Krishna, Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, whose invincible potency influences them, the less intelligent class of men, to call me the supreme controller.
He's saying very clearly. See, he said that Swarochisha Vishwam Rochitam Rochayamyaham. If Narad Muni were to say that Nano Jagadguru Brahma Vishwam Srajati iti Sarvatra eva tava khyati. But my dear father, you are well known everywhere that you are the Jagadguru and you are the Brahma, which is Vishwasreja, who is the creator of the universe and spiritual master of the whole universe. So everywhere you are well known like that. So he says, yes. He smiles and yes says, I offer my obeisances to Supreme Lord, who is causing all this bewilderment. He says, but because of whose Maya people talk such things. Like that he is saying. See, when Narad Muni says that, everybody knows that you are Jagat Guru and you are the one who is the creator of the universe. So he says, Savismayam, with a great astonishment. And Sotprasam. Sotprasam means he's also deriding it. There is some derision is there. Is mocking that idea like that. Oh, yes. Just see Maya, how it is amazing. It makes people think like that. Like that he is speaking this. Savismayam Sotprasam. So, Tasmaya Namo Bhagavate. I offer my obeisances to that Bhagavan Vasudeva. In my mind, Dhimahi, I meditate on him. Yan Mayaya Durjayaya. By whose Maya, which is very unconquerable, which is very invincible. So I offer my obeisances to that Lord, by whose Maya, by whose invincible Maya, people call me Jagadguru. Like that. Mam Vadanti Jagadgurum. Especially in the sense of, see, Jagadguru title can be there for Brahma also. But he's saying in the sense of Supreme Creator. if somebody is thinking like that and calling me a Jagat Guru or the Supreme Guru or a Supreme Creator. So he says, yes, actually, this is obvious because Maya is so invincible. They are bewildered by Maya. That's the point. He's saying like that. So, Prabhupada in purport. Brahmaji is conscious of his actual position and he knows how intelligent persons, bewildered by illusory energy of the Lord, whimsically accept anyone and everyone as God. That a responsible personality like Brahmaji refuses to be addressed as the Supreme Lord by his disciples or subordinates, but foolish persons praised by men of nature of dogs, hogs, camels, and asses feel flattered to be addressed as the Supreme Lord. So this is the point. Somebody may be ignorant and may call another person as Supreme Lord, but if that person is enlightened and if he is responsible, he should not allow himself or he should not delight in that. No, Prabhupada is saying that is responsibility of Brahmaji, in the sense that is how Brahma is very responsible, because he refuses to be addressed as Supreme Lord. Like that. Like sometimes there are some fake incarnations in this world and they say, actually, I never say that I am God, but my disciples say that I am God. So what to do? I am not saying. So Prabhupada is that, come on, they are foolish, so they are saying you, but why are you not saying anything? You refuse, you strong, very strongly you can condemn that idea. When Prabhupada was being said to be, they were saying Prabhupada is God. So how heavy Prabhupada was, that. He literally ostracized those 4 sannyasis and spoke very heavily. And everywhere he was saying, no, how Jiva is Jiva and only Supreme Lord is Supreme Lord. Nobody can be equal to Jiva. So vehemently he opposed that idea and made sure that everybody understood it. And there are no more, people joining that propaganda. But that is not the thing with many of these so-called people, right? Many of these Babas and Rishis and all that. So they are very happy. People called me God. So, they are very happy. They are flattered by that. So Prabhupada says that one should not feel flattered by such a thing. Only dogs, hogs, camels, and asses, they feel flattered to be addressed by the Supreme Lord. So this way. Okay. Prabhupada says, why such persons take pleasure in being addressed as God, or why such persons are addressed as God by foolish admirers, is explained in the following words. Why is that happening? What is the cause? What is the reason? So the reason is basically Mayaya Vimohita. They are bewildered by Lord's energy, material energy. That is why they are calling such things. And that is why those who are being called as God, they are also feeling flattered, because both are bewildered by Maya. So that is the cause. Text 13. Vilajjamanaya yasya sthatumiksha pathe muya vimohita vikattanthe mamaha miti durdhiyah.
The illusory energy of the Lord cannot take precedence, being ashamed of her position. But those who are bewildered by her always talk nonsense, being absorbed in the thoughts of it is I and it is mine.
So this is the reason because of which they talk such things, he is saying. Vilajjamanaya yasya sthatum iksha pathe amuya. See, who speak like this? Vikattante. They speak or talk nonsense. Who? Vimohita. Those are bewildered. Vimohita vikattante. So those who are bewildered, they speak this nonsense. Bewildered by whom? Bewildered by amuya. Amuya means by this Maya. That Maya which vilajjamanaya yasya sthatum ikshapathe. That Maya which is very much ashamed to come in front of the eyes of the Supreme Lord. Ikshapathe. Ikshapathe is like nayan pathe. Unke nayan path में आने के लिए माया जो है बड़ी विलज्जित रहती है. She is ashamed to come in front of the Lord. Vilajjamanaya. So bewildered by such Maya, people talk nonsense. What is that nonsense? Mama aham, I am this, or this is mine. I am body and everything connected to body is mine. Durdhiyaha. Because these are very ill-conceived people or very foolish people. The intelligence is very bad. So they speak such words. Basically, he is saying that those who are bewildered by Maya, they will call me as God, or they will call themselves as body, and they will call many other people as God or Supreme Lord, including me as Supreme Lord, because they're bewildered by Maya, who cannot stand in front of the Supreme Lord. Meaning, if somebody is a devotee, if somebody is unmukh, he is directed towards the Supreme Lord, he will not speak such rubbish. That is his point in this particular verse. See, Vishwanath Chakravarti. When they say Jagat Guru Vishwasrishta Tvam Bhavasi Eva, you are Jagat Guru or you are the creator of the universe, they are giving you respect. No, Tubhyam Adar Daina. They are giving you respect. So how are they bewildered by Maya? He is saying, they are giving you respect, and you are saying they are bewildered by Maya like that. Yeah, Satyam. Yes, this is only true. Because Bhagavat Sambandham Vina Ye Adar Daina. Those who give me great respect without Bhagavat Sambandha, without knowing my relationship with the Supreme Lord or independent of Supreme Lord, they give me a great respect. So those who are like that, and Tasmad Adar Grahinaha, and those who take that respect, both are Bahirdarshina, both are bewildered by Maya, So he is saying that if I take that kind of respect, accept that respect, saying, oh yeah, I am only the Jagat Guru and I am only Vishwasrishta, so then I will also be considered Bahirdarshi. I will also be considered somebody whose vision is outward and not towards Supreme Lord, inward. Antardarshi, Bhagavaddarshi nahi, Bahirdarshi ho jaunga. This way. So all such people are bewildered by Maya. And why is Maya ashamed to come in front of Lord? So he says, you see, Mat kapatam asau janati iti kapatinya striya. Suppose some stri is there, some woman is there, and she knows that her master knows that how she is very kapti, she is very tricky, or she's not proper. If she knows that how she is duplicitous, so such a lady who knows that her master knows her duplicity or her kapat, so then such a lady will be very ashamed to come in front of him, no? Because she will know that, oh, he knows actually that I am very duplicitous, I am very tricky, treacherous. So then she won't be ready to go in front of him. So similarly, Maya Devi feels that Supreme Lord knows that how I am very, meaning I have that particular aspect of bewildering the jivas, that aspect of putting them into ignorance and making them bound in this world, making the jivas sort of undergo repeated birth and death. Of course, by their own desire, agreed. But then still she has that thankless task like that. So her service is thankless. So she is doing it. But the point is, because she is the one which is the one which puts jivas in ignorance, and which also makes sure that their material sojourn continues. So from that angle, she feels little ashamed to go in front of Lord. It's like that seva she knows is not very great or pleasing in that way. Although it is important, but in that way. So that's why it is said Vilajjamanaya, this way. So those who are bewildered by such Maya, they will speak all this nonsense, including I am the Supreme. But if somebody is not like that, if somebody is enlightened, then he will not speak this thing. So Maya always stands behind the Supreme Lord, that's why. Prabhupada would say, right? Godhead is light, nations is darkness. Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hai andhakar. Jaha Krishna taha nahi Maya radhikar. So she stands at the backside of the Lord because she cannot come in the front. She feels ashamed. So what is that backside? He says that tad vaimukta, meaning that anybody who is turned away from the face of the Lord, to them only Maya will act, because they are also at the backside. So they are in Maya's grip. So anybody who is not looking at the Lord, or rather he has turned away the face from the Lord. Basically, he is not looking towards the Lord. So he can be on any side, but he is not looking towards the Supreme Lord. So such a person will be called as Vimukha, which is turned away from the Lord. And then in that case, they are under the grip of Maya. This way. If somebody is facing towards the Supreme Lord, then such a person will not be under grip of Maya. So if when they're under grip of Maya, this is how they speak. That is his point. Like Prabhupada. Nations is behind the personality of Godhead, where she is powerful enough to mislead the living beings. And the primary symptom of bewildered persons is that they talk nonsense. Nonsensical talks are not supported by principles of Vedic literatures. And first grade nonsense talk is, it is I, it is mine. Aham mameti. This way. Those who are before the Lord, however, and who surrender unto him cannot be influenced by deluding energy. So he is addressing Vishwanath Chakravarti's idea of Vaimukhya and Samukhya. Vaimukhya meaning being turned away from the Lord, and Samukhya meaning having face towards the Lord. So those who are in Vaimukhya, they will be under grip of Maya. Those who are in Samukhya, they will not be under grip of Maya. This is what is spoken in this particular verse. Okay. So now from text 14, he starts answering the questions. So 14 will answer the question. Okay, 14 onwards, we will see this tomorrow. It is time already. Okay. So you wish to ask anything on this before we stop today? Stop for today. Yes, Prabhu.
Here, Brahmaji is saying that being merciful to all, including me. So why he's addressing?
Yeah, so being merciful towards him, because he's saying no, that by this question where you said Vijanihi, that please answer this with a great deliberation. So he said that you have asked such a question by which, first and foremost, I just took a moment to think about, by you saying that please answer it in a very elaborate way with great deliberation. I took a moment for deliberation on Supreme Lord, and yes, actually, he is the real creator that way. So in my heart, I meditated on him for a moment. So that is your mercy. Because of your inquiry, I meditated on him, and especially his aspect of creation, his aspect of how he is the real creator. And I just follow him. And second, he is thanking him also because here is an opportunity by which he is now able to speak the glory. So it will be recorded in pages of Bhagavatam. So not only Narad Muni will hear, but entire, humanity will hear this. So that is why he is thanking him. That's why he is mercy. Okay. Yes. Is that Lalit?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Regarding the seed, normally this is very common question in outside world also.
Yeah.
Like the seed is given by Lord, or the intelligence to make the seed is given by Lord to Brahmaji, or how? Because here is given like Brahma Jyoti, the seeds are given. So how actually the creation happens of seeds?
Yeah, Prabhu. See, basically here by seeds, it means that seeds, the living entities. And then when you say seeds, bija, in terms of the whole process of creation, how it is to be done, what sort of elements, what sort of, how subtle body and what sort of gross bodies, what is whose karma. So all those aspects are said to be seeds. Here, seed is spoken in that particular sense that it's not Brahma who is creating any of these things. So right from living entities all the way up to entire blueprint of creation. So you could say in that particular way. Now, what Brahma does exactly, at what point he takes ingredients from whom, and how he puts, so that we will discuss that, Prabhu. That is there as part of Visarga. It will come, exact role of Brahma, what he does. But here, when it is said seeds, you can take it in a generic sense that the seed of living entities, first of all, living entities, because you know that they are coming by Mahavishnu's glance only. Brahma never created them. They are being offered to Brahma, this whole thing to, what you say, process further. And second, all the elements also, they were not even, Brahmaji was not even there when they were created. Because before Garbhodakshayi Vishnu gets into the universe, before that only all the universal elements are created, isn't it? Glancing on Mahat Tattva and all. So in Karya and Karan Srishti, Prabhu, we will discuss in this in detail. Sure. You know, like,
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
okay. Fine. So we stop here. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.